But so I think it's just like just look this way now.
Yeah.
Right, so when it comes to the issue of Brexit, obviously you're a trade unionist. You've been a trade unionist for quite a while. What would you say? Would you have any concerns about what Brexit might deliver for workers' rights? Do you think there's any? Because I know, I think a trade unionist did warn that this Brexit might lead to a bonfire of workers' rights. Do you think that will happen, or do you think it's entirely too preemptive to judge at the moment?
I mean, I think it's very difficult to say, but clearly it is a significant worry. The European Working Time Directive has sort of given us some of the first safeguards we've had in terms of employment law. Things like the entitlement to a 20-minute unpaid break after 6 hours work, the entitlement to an 11-hour break between each day, and 1 day off a week. That are sort of fundamentals of the Working Time Directive. So without that, then clearly, people could be pushed into working a lot longer hours. I think that's an area that trade unions come across as an issue now, and if there wasn't that legislation, weak though it may be, then that opens the door to even greater exploitation of people being required to be available very long hours, basically.
Would you? There's also a fear. I think the Independent published an inquiry yesterday that said that post-Brexit Britain, the one that Theresa May is supposedly currently pursuing, may lead to an explosion of 0 hours contracts. Would you say this is a possibility, or do you think it's going to be much more complex in the long run?
I mean, I don't know about 0 hours contracts in the sense that I'm not certain that there's anything in terms of European legislation which either helps or hinders them. There has been a huge growth in them, and that's clearly down to businesses where they're not got trade unions and that, finding that they can get away with doing that. So whether Brexit itself would lead to an increase in that is difficult to know, but I think if there's a general reduction in workers' rights, then that's the sort of area where employers will look to get more flexibility. It just gives them much less commitment to everything.
Yes. Okay. I think. Well, how long do you exactly think Brexit? What do you think it's going to mean for the city of Chester? Because obviously you've got centres like Airbus. They basically warned that if the current Brexit plans go underway, that they're basically entering I think their vice president said it was entering an era of uncertainty. There's now many fears that jobs could hemorrhage from Chester. Would you say this is from not just Chester but the entire Cheshire area, as Airbus is a very big employer there?
I think this whole issue of international corporations is one where workers are incredibly threatened. I think we saw that the Vauxhall plant stayed open. But in order to achieve that, the unions were forced to negotiate quite a lot of cuts in terms and conditions, and even to sort of open separate parts plants where people were paid a lot less. So if you've got a situation where those big employers are having problems in terms of accessing European markets, then they've got even less reason to stay in this area, and that means if they do stay, they're going to do it at the expense of workers' pay and conditions.
So it's not quite. We're not quite facing like an MG Rover fiasco. I think it's more going to be like a case of downsizing.
I mean, again, I don't. Vauxhall's works very much on building the Astra, and whether it then gets the job of replacing it at the end of that as a model, it's pretty well a one-car plant. If the company decides not to give the new Astra model to this plant and builds it somewhere else, then the whole plant will go. With something like Airbus, then presumably that they're building wings for different models of the Airbus, and they've obviously got that skill and technology. It'd be a question of whether there was anything which allowed the overall company to step away from that, maybe move some of that production abroad, or whether it's causing them problems keeping it here. I mean, obviously they send all their wings to France. If there's tariffs involved in that sort of situation, then that could easily be the trigger for them to decide this is not something we want to carry on doing.
I think there is a lot of genuine concern about tariffs, because obviously, and I think people are quite concerned about how long the Brexit deal will actually take place, because obviously, I don't know if you're aware of what's happened in Canada recently. Canada have been trying to secure a deal with the EU, but they've been trying to do this for nearly 11 years, but recently I believe it's fell through, so would the same apply to Britain, or do you think there's going to be a bit more leeway? I
think the Canada one was reinstated, wasn't it? They eventually persuaded the Belgium areas to agree to it, but this whole thing about international trade deals is incredibly complicated now. And
obviously you've got to get you're basically negotiating with, I believe it's 36 different nations, and if even one of those nations vetoes its deal, basically it's back to square one.
Could well be. I mean, obviously, I think as we see with Canada, there's a lot of pressure for them to reach an agreement. But I think that, the whole notion that was put forward by a lot of the Tories in terms of Brexit was, we were somehow going to pursue our own thing in the world. A country like China, if it doesn't want to have European standards for its goods and British standards for its goods. It wants simplicity. It wants, we make everything to meet European standards, and that's it. We don't want to have to take account of small nations like Britain. And I think that's where
obviously the favourite term is national sovereignty. But do you think?
Well, I think the logic for consumers is generally that it's better to have agreed standards across an area, isn't it? And the worry is that they decide that we're going to have different standards. And it's like having different plugs or different chargers for your phone or whatever. We're trying to do away with those problems to allow people flexibility, and these people seem to think there's some way of